Hello everyone. Welcome to a brand new video. Today, we'll be delving into the third book of the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So let's begin. Harry is spending yet another summer holidays with his least favorite people in the world, the Dursleys. He is bullied by Uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, and their pampered son, Dudley. He is not allowed to do his homework. He is not allowed to contact his friends. In short, he is miserable. To add to his worries, Uncle Vernon's sister, Aunt Marge, visits the Dursleys. She is yet another bully in Harry's life. In meantime, Harry asks Uncle Vernon if he could sign a form for Hogwarts, the one that needs the signature of parents or guardians to allow the Hogwarts students to go to the nearby village, Hogsmeade. Uncle Vernon says he will if Harry behaves. Aunt Marge is mean to Harry during her stay. Harry is patient all throughout, but he snaps when she makes insulting remarks about Harry's deceased parents. He loses his cool and blows up Aunt Marge like a gigantic balloon. Angry at the Dursleys, Harry leaves the place and realizes he's alone at night in the unknown Muggle world. He accidentally calls out the night bus by sticking out his wand hand. Night bus is a transport for stranded witches and wizards. In the night bus, Harry learns about the murderer and escaped convict Sirius Black. He learns that Black is vicious and a big supporter of you-know-who. Harry thinks of living his days out as an outlaw wizard. His plan is to head to London, take all his money out, and then live his days as an outlaw. He gets a jolt when he walks into the hands of the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge, when he gets down at London. The minister tells him that all's fine, that he needn't worry about the incident of blowing up his aunt. It's all been taken care of. Fudge tells Harry to take a room in Leaky Cauldron, the inn, and not to go wandering around after dark or to Muggle London. Harry spends the rest of his holidays visiting the Diagon Alley, where he roams around. He bought his school stuff, and on the last day he met his friends Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. Ron's pet rat, Scabbers, was looking sick, so the trio visited a pet shop. Hermione bought herself a cat, to Ron's chagrin. After having dinner at Leaky Cauldron, Ron and Harry goes off to Ron's room to pack his bag. He argues with his brother Percy, and Harry leaves the room. On his way down, he hears Mr. and Mrs. Weasley arguing. He hears his name being mentioned. Harry hears that Sirius Black escaped to go after Harry. Though he felt very about the matter, he couldn't help but feel a little relieved because at Hogwarts, Dumbledore's the headmaster and Black daren't break into the school, something Mrs. Weasley mentioned to her husband. Harry has mixed feelings about the matter. The next day, Harry and others head to the platform to board the Hogwarts Express. Mr. Weasley takes Harry aside to tell him something, but Harry tells Mr. Weasley he already knows what the latter wants to tell him. Then, Mr. Weasley asks Harry to make him a promise, not to go looking for Sirius Black. Harry is a bit taken aback. On the train, the trio choose a compartment. There's a teacher there, Professor J. Lupin, who's fast asleep. Harry tells Hermione and Ron what he heard and what Mr. Weasley had told him. Ron and Hermione are stunned. Then suddenly the train stops and the Azkaban guard, a Dementor, comes in. Harry loses his consciousness. When he comes around, Professor Lupin gives Harry and others chocolate. They all tell Harry how horrible they felt at the presence of the Dementor. At the school, during the feast, Dumbledore announces that Dementors will be guarding the entrance of the school. Also, he tells the students about 2 new teachers for that year. Professor Lupin as the new defense against the dark arts teacher, and Hagrid as the care of magical creatures teacher. It's the first day of school and Harry, Hermione, and Ron have got divination, a new subject. Professor Sybil Trelawney is their teacher. She's a seer, or so she claims. She's teaching them about tea leaves. The students pair up and read each other's tea leaves. Professor Trelawney sees Harry's cup and reads his. She says he has the Grim, an omen that indicates the death. In this case, Harry's. Later they have care of magical creatures class. They're having the class with Slytherin. Hagrid's the teacher. He brings forth a magical creature called the Hippogriff. It's a proud animal. Hagrid tells the class how to approach a hippogriff. Harry comes forward when asked for a volunteer. He follows Hagrid's instruction and the hippogriff bows to Harry, a sign that it trusts Harry. Soon, the others follow suit. Then, Malfoy insults the creature and it turns on him and injures him. Blood stains his robes. Immediately, Hagrid takes him to the hospital wing. It's a bad start for Hagrid. The Gryffindors have potions class with the Slytherins. Malfoy is back from the hospital wing, and he's playing up his injury. Harry finds out he was doing it to get Hagrid fired. Harry and Ron are told by Snape to chop ingredients for Malfoy. When Seamus Finnegan, Harry's fellow Gryffindor, tells Harry that Sirius Black was spotted not far from school, Malfoy butts in and taunts Harry, saying if he was Harry he'd go after Black because he would want revenge. Harry wonders why he would want revenge. Ron tells him that Malfoy is only trying to get Harry in trouble. He tells Harry to ignore Malfoy. The Gryffindors have their first defense against dark arts with Professor Lupin. They are dealing with Bogart, a shape-shifting creature that takes the form of what a person fears the most. Everyone have a go at it. Neville does it twice. His Bogart is Snape. When it is Harry's turn, Professor Lupin faces the Bogart that takes the form of an orb. They finish off the Bogart at Neville's second try. Harry wonders why he wasn't allowed to face the Bogart. The first Hogsmeade visit is coming up. Everyone who's a third year or above are allowed to go. Everyone in Harry's year leaves for the village, including Hermione and Ron. They return with sweets for Harry. It's Halloween, and there's a feast that evening. After the feast, the Gryffindors head back to their common room, only they can't get in. The fat lady who guards the entrance to common room isn't there. She's been driven away. It was the work of Sirius Black. When he arrived, she wouldn't let him in, and for that he ripped her portrait. Another portrait takes to guarding the entrance to Gryffindor. Harry is late for his defense against the dark arts class, as he was taking tips from the Gryffindor Quidditch team captain. He finally reaches the class only to see Snape, instead of Lupin, teaching the class. Snape starts a new topic, werewolves. The class tells Snape where they stood in lessons, but Snape ignores them. The first Quidditch match of the season is up. Gryffindors play Hufflepuff instead of Slytherin as Malfoy, the Slytherin Seeker, is still unwell. There's a thunderstorm during the match. Gryffindor are leading. Wood, the keeper, tells Harry where the snitch is. Harry goes after it, but suddenly the atmosphere changes. He sees that the Dementors have invaded the pitch. It gets really cold, and Harry hears a woman screaming. He loses his consciousness and falls off the broom. Gryffindor loses the match as the Hufflepuff Seeker catches the snitch. It's Harry's first defeat in Quidditch. To top that misery, there's something else Harry finds out when he wakes up in the hospital wing. His broom has been destroyed by the Whomping Willow, the violent tree on the ground. Harry gets out of the hospital wing. He meets up with Professor Lupin. Lupin says he heard about the match and Harry's broom. Harry wonders why the Dementors affect him the most. It was because of them that he fell of the broom. He remembers that in the train when the Dementor came aboard, Lupin drove it away with his wand. Harry wants Lupin to teach Harry how to do it. Lupin agrees and promises to teach him in time. Another Hogsmeade visit comes up. Fred and George Weasley, seeing how sad Harry was seeing his friends go off to the village, gives him a parchment. It is no ordinary parchment. It is the Marauders map. It shows everything and everyone in Hogwarts and the grounds near it. Besides that, it shows 7 hidden passageways that lead to Hogsmeade. The Weasley twins tells him how to use the map and suggest a way to get to Hogsmeade. Harry goes through one of the passageways that Filch the caretaker doesn't know. He ends up in the sweet shop Honeydukes. Harry runs into Ron and Hermione. They go into the Three Broomsticks, the popular hangout place in Hogsmeade. Professors McGonagall, Flitwick, Hagrid, and the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge, arrive. The trio hide themselves. Madame Rosmerta complains to Fudge that the Dementors are scaring away her customers. Fudge says he's helpless as Sirius Black is still at large. Rosmerta reminiscence about the time Black was at Hogwarts. His friend was none other than James Potter, Harry's father. Fudge says Black was James's best man and godfather to Harry, something Fudge thinks would distraught Harry. The story further goes that when Dumbledore found that Lord Voldemort was moving against the Potters, he told them to go into hiding. He told them he would be the secret keeper for the Fidelius Charm, a complicated spell that is meant to keep the secret in a single soul. This way no one would know about the secret as long as the person keeping it doesn't reveal it. Sirius Black, being James's best buddy, told he'll be the secret keeper. Fudge goes on to say that Black was a double agent and that he was passing on information about the Potters to you-know-who himself. You-know-who found about the Potters and killed both James and Lily. Another friend of theirs, Peter Pettigrew, who was always with James and Black at Hogwarts, had a face-off with Black after the downfall of you-know-who, says Fudge. Black was too quick for him. He managed to kill Pettigrew and a dozen muggles. The blast of the curse was horrific. A huge crater appeared on the ground. Only thing the ministry officials could find of Pettigrew was his finger. Fudge says, on his last inspection of Azkaban, he was asked by Black if he could have the paper. He said he missed doing the crossword. The Dementors seemed to have no effect on the vicious Black. While Black slept, he would mutter, "He's at Hogwarts," the Azkaban guards told Fudge. And now he's after Harry. The party leave once they had their drinks. The trio are stunned. Hermione and Ron are nervous around Harry. They didn't want him to worry about what he heard in the Three Broomsticks. But how could he not? If it was their parents who died because their best friend betrayed them, they too would be upset. It's the first day of the holidays, and Ron suggests that they go to Hagrid's. The trio goes to his hut. When the door opens, Hagrid flings himself onto Harry's neck. Ron and Hermione helps him. Hagrid tells them that Buckbeak the Hippogriff that had injured Draco Malfoy is going to be tried. If found guilty, it would be executed. Hagrid is devastated. The trio promises him they would help him form a solid defense for Buckbeak. The Christmas day has arrived, and that means presents. Harry gets a firebolt, the best international standard broom, though there was no note saying who it was from. Ron is thrilled about it, too. Not Hermione, though. She reports it to Professor McGonagall, who confiscates the broom, telling Harry it needs to be checked for jinxes and curses. When she leaves, Ron angrily asks Hermione why she went to McGonagall. Hermione says she believes the firebolt might be from Sirius Black. Meanwhile, Harry approaches Lupin about his promise to teach how to repel Dementors. Lupin begins privately tutoring Harry on the Patronus charm. He gives Harry the incantation. Harry practices on a Bogart that takes the shape of a Dementor. Harry utters the incantation Expecto Patronum a few times. The thing about Patronus charm is that the caster needs to have a strong, happy memory while saying the incantation. Harry's memory isn't good enough, so he fails the first few attempts by losing consciousness. One day, Harry is on his way back to the common room when he runs into McGonagall. She tells him he can have the broom back. Harry is glad. He takes it back to his dorm. Ron is thrilled. Harry and Ron decide they should make it up to Hermione. No sooner had that happened, Ron came out of the boys' dormitory holding the bedsheet with blood on it and some cat hair. He is convinced that Crookshanks, Hermione's cat, has eaten Scabbers, Ron's pet rat. Things are bitter between them after that. Gryffindor's second match is coming up. It's against Ravenclaw. Since Harry got back his firebolt, the team is confident that they would win. On the match day, things start excitedly. Harry zooms around on his broom, looking out for the snitch. Ravenclaw's seeker, Cho Chang, is a fourth year. She is a good flyer. Harry gets the snitch, though, and wins the match for his team. The Gryffindors party after the match in their common room. Professor McGonagall comes into the common room and tells them to stop. The students go to bed. At some point at night, Ron wakes everyone up in the dormitory with his scream. He says Sirius Black came in, holding a knife. McGonagall comes back, and she asks the portrait that was guarding the entrance whether he let in a man. The portrait, Sir Cadogan, says he did. The castle is once again abuzz with talks of Sirius Black. Ron, for a change, is getting more attention than Harry. One day, Harry gets a letter from Hagrid, saying he wants to talk to him and Ron. At Hagrid's, Harry and Ron are admonished by Hagrid. The latter says Hermione is in a right state. She had been crying, and that she was very upset when Ron almost got attacked by Black. Hagrid tells them friendship should matter to them more than a broom or a rat. Hagrid also tells both of them that Hermione had been helping with Buckbeak's case. Harry and Ron feel guilty after their visit to Hagrid, knowing they didn't do enough. The next Hogsmeade visit is coming up. Harry and Ron decide to go. Harry tells Ron he'll take his dad's invisibility cloak. Hermione warns against it. The two ignore her warnings. At Hogsmeade, Harry and Ron have great fun. They run into Malfoy and his cronies, Crabbe and Goyle. Harry makes a Mickey out them, but Harry's cloak gets caught in somebody's foot and slips over his head, revealing his head. A terrified Malfoy runs back to the castle. Harry uses the hidden passageway to get back, only to run into Snape, who asks Harry where he had been. Harry lies, but Snape tells him what happened. He then tells Harry to empty his pockets. Harry produces a few items from the joke shop from Hogsmeade and the Marauders map. Suspicious of the parchment, Snape asks Harry what it is. Harry lies. Snape then tells him why not throw it in the fire. Harry objects. Snape has got Harry exactly where he wants him. Snape then calls Lupin. He tells Lupin the parchment is full of dark magic. Lupin dismisses it as nothing but an item from some joke shop, telling off anyone trying to read it. Ron then arrives panting, telling Snape and Lupin that he gave Harry the items he had from his visit to Hogsmeade. Lupin then takes leave of Snape, taking Harry and Ron with him, saying he needed to talk to them about an essay. Lupin tells Harry he won't cover for him and that Harry should have handed in the Marauders' map. That in the hand of Sirius Black would have been a way to get to Harry. Lupin tells Harry one more thing. His life shouldn't be gambled away. That Harry's parents had given up their lives to save Harry's. It would be a poor way to repay them back by taking risks. On their way to the common room, they meet Hermione, who tells them with quivering lips that Hagrid lost the case and that Buckbeak's going to be executed. The three friends feel sorry. Hermione says there'll be an appeal, but with Malfoy's father threatening the committee, there's hardly any chance for Buckbeak. Ron says he'll help Hermione, that she won't have to work alone to put up the defense during the appeal. Meanwhile, the Gryffindor-Slytherin match is coming up. Things are tense in the castle, with Slytherins trying to sabotage any chance Gryffindors have got. The Slytherins lead the tournament by 200 points. On the match day, the school witnesses the dirtiest Quidditch match to date. Both sides foul each other. Oliver Wood, the Gryffindor captain, had told Harry that not to catch the snitch, the golden ball that's worth 150 points until their team is up by 50 points. After the Gryffindor are leading Slytherin over 50 points, Harry spots Malfoy dive for the snitch. Harry gives chase. He catches up with Malfoy. He surpasses him by inches, knocks off Malfoy's hand, and catches the snitch himself. Gryffindor finally wins, ending their championship drought. The month of June slowly comes up. It's the exam season and Harry, Ron, and Hermione are having their exams. Transfiguration was tough. Potions was abysmal. Care of magical creatures was the easiest. Harry got full marks for defense against dark arts. Charms went fine. The last exam Harry had was divination. Harry was the last one to sit for the exam, as Professor Trelawney is seeing students individually. Harry manages to wiggle his way through Trelawney's questions, then suddenly, her voice goes coarse and she makes a real prediction. It will happen tonight. The servant shall join the Dark Lord, and the Dark Lord shall rise more powerful than ever. Before Harry could tell them, Hagrid's letter arrives informing the trio that Buckbeak's appeal has been lost, and he will be executed at sunset. Harry and the other two decide to visit Hagrid. There Ron's rat Scabbers is found. The execution party arrives and the trio leaves. Scabbers isn't very comfortable. It makes a bid to escape. Crookshanks the cat appears. Ron runs after Scabbers. He manages to snatch it. All three realize that they're near the Whomping Willow. It swings and thrashes its branches. Ron's leg breaks. Suddenly, a large black dog appears, and it drags Ron into a large hole by the willow. Crookshanks, Hermione's cat, touches a knot at the base of the willow, and it freezes like marble. The cat then follows the dog into the hole. Wands out, Harry and Hermione follow them. They reach the Shrieking Shack, believed to be a very haunted house, but it's empty of ghosts. Harry and Hermione run into Ron, who's clutching Scabbers. Crookshanks is laying on a bed, purring. Ron points over Harry's shoulders. Standing in the corner with his long matted hair and sallow skin is none other than Sirius Black. He's an animagus, Ron says. Harry is furious and he lunges at Black, punching him all over. Black asks Harry, "Are you going to kill me, Harry?" Just then Lupin arrives. The trio sees that he's in league with Black. Harry and Hermione accuse Lupin many things. Lupin calmly explains to them the truth. He says he's one of the Marauders who wrote the map, and he saw the trio go to Hagrid's in the map, and then he saw Sirius in the map. But before that he saw that when the trio returned from Hagrid's, they were joined by someone. Harry says no one joined them. Lupin says they were joined by a man called Peter Pettigrew. He is an animagus and he's Ron's rat. Harry, Ron, and Hermione aren't convinced. Hermione tells them that Lupin's a werewolf. Lupin reacts calmly. Black wants to just end things fast, but Lupin tells him they need to explain things. That it's necessary to make the trio understand, especially Harry. Sirius owes Harry an explanation, Lupin says. So, he begins the story about himself and his friends Sirius, James, and Peter. Lupin was bitten as a child and became a werewolf once a month. When he came to Hogwarts, his three friends figured out what he was. They didn't abandon him. They became animagus and joined Lupin when he was in his transformed state. They explored all of Hogwarts and wrote the Marauders' map. Lupin says that Snape, who was at Hogwarts with them, hated them due to jealousy. Snape wanted to catch the foursome's lawbreaking and wanted to get them expelled. Once he saw Madame Pomfrey, the matron of the hospital wing, escorting Lupin to the base of the Whomping Willow. Lupin was in his transformed state. Sirius told Snape how to get past the Whomping Willow and into the Shrieking Shack. When James Potter realized what Sirius had done, he pulled Snape back. He saved Snape's life. Snape was even more spiteful towards them after that. Harry realizes why Snape hated his father so much. To their surprise, Snape appears beside them, clutching Harry's invisibility cloak. Snape has a glee in his eye. He points his wand at Lupin. He talks of how he wanted to be the one to catch Black. Maybe the Dementor could give him its kiss, he says. Black is aghast. Snape doesn't stop there. He says he'll let the Dementors have Lupin, too. Snape says he was sure Lupin was helping his old buddy Black. Harry didn't know why he did it, but he disarms Snape and sends him hurling to the wall, knocking him unconscious. Lupin and Sirius are grateful, but Harry doesn't trust them yet. Lupin takes the rat from Ron and turns him back into Peter Pettigrew. Pettigrew, or Wormtail, begs and pleads with everyone present, spewing lie after lie to save his own skin. A war of words occur between the trio on one side and Lupin and Sirius on the other. They finally agree that Black is innocent and that Wormtail betrayed James and Lily, Harry's parents. Lupin and Sirius think of killing Wormtail then and there, but Harry stops them. He says he doesn't want his dad's friends to be murderers because of someone like Wormtail. Everyone gets out of the hole below the Whomping Willow. Crookshank touched the knot to make the tree immobile. Lupin, Ron, and Pettigrew get out, with Lupin's wand still on Pettigrew. Sirius tells Harry when his name is cleared if Harry wants he could come live with him. Harry gets excited by the prospect. And then disaster happens. The clouds part. A full moon shines on them all. Lupin starts to transform. He hasn't taken the Wolfsbane potion, which means he's not safe. Sirius tells Harry and Hermione to run and leave Lupin to him. Meanwhile, Pettigrew transforms into his rat form and escapes. Sirius transforms into the dog and goes after Lupin. He gets injured. His yelp is heard by Harry, who goes after him. Harry sees that Sirius is on the ground. The Dementors are closing in. He tries to cast the Patronus. It's no use. He is about to lose consciousness when he sees someone familiar and a glowing figure like a large animal near the person. Harry wakes up in the hospital wing. Snape and Minister of Magic Fudge are talking. Black confounded the trio. Harry hears Snape say. Fudge wonders who conjured the Patronus that drove off the Dementors. Hermione is awake, too. Madame Pomfrey comes in and sees that they're awake. Harry tells her he needs to talk with the headmaster. The matron says it's all right. The Dementors will soon give Black the Dementor's kiss. Fudge and Snape comes in, too. Harry and Hermione bursts into explanation. Minister, it was Pettigrew. He's an animagus, a rat. Snape says Black's done a good job confounding the two. Just then Dumbledore comes in. He says he needs to talk with Harry and Hermione alone. Snape and Madame Pomfrey makes a fuss, but Dumbledore insists. Both Harry and Hermione break into explanations. Dumbledore puts a hand up and tells them to listen to him. No one will believe the words of two 13-year-olds. Dumbledore tells Hermione that 3 turns should do it, and it is possible to save more than one innocent life if they succeed. Harry is stunned. What did Dumbledore just say? Hermione takes out something that was hanging around her neck. She says it's a time turner, and that she's been using it the whole year to get to all her classes. There are laws to using it, though. You mustn't be seen. Dumbledore had told them Sirius is being held in Flitwick's office. 13th window from the West Tower. And he said, more than one innocent life could be saved. He had meant Buckbeak. Harry and Hermione are supposed to fly Buckbeak to the floor where Sirius is held and save him. Hermione turns the time turner 3 times. Harry and she appear at the entrance hall. They hear the pass themselves. So, she hides herself and Harry in the broom closet. They then go to Hagrid's hut and hides themselves behind the trees. Harry says they should free Buckbeak then, but Hermione says no. The execution committee should see the creature, or else they might think Hagrid set it free. The committee arrives. McNair the executioner looks at Buckbeak through the window of Hagrid's hut. As soon as he puts his head back in, Harry and Hermione lead Buckbeak into the forest. They pull at its rope hard so that Buckbeak doesn't walk back to Hagrid's. So, one life set free. Harry and Hermione wait. It's hard waiting, and it's hard seeing themselves in the past. Meanwhile, Hermione asks who cast the Patronus. Harry tells her that it was his dad. Hermione is concerned and sad for Harry. Your dad is dead, she says. I know, Harry says. Harry wonders what he saw. Could it really be his dad? Finally, they arrive at the moment when Dementors surround Sirius and Harry. Harry waits and waits. Then he realizes it was himself he saw. He was the one who cast the Patronus before. He does so again, because this time he knew he'd already done it. The large horse-shaped Patronus drives away hundreds of Dementors. It comes to Harry. He sees that it's not a horse, but a stag. Harry sees McNair walking out of the castle. He is going to fetch the Dementors. Harry and Hermione get on top of Buckbeak and ride him to where Sirius is held. They rescue him. He flies away not before thanking Harry and Hermione. Harry and Hermione rush back to the hospital wing where they started. They run into Dumbledore. Harry says they did it, freed Sirius and Buckbeak. Somewhere in the castle there's an angry yell. Snape pops into the hospital wing, followed by Fudge. He accuses Harry that he helped Sirius escape. Fudge thinks Snape's delusional. Dumbledore asks Madame Pomfrey whether Harry and Hermione left the hospital wing. She says they didn't. The next morning, Harry hears that Lupin has resigned from the teaching job because Snape, because of his disappointment and anger, let slip during the breakfast that Lupin was a werewolf. Harry goes to see him in his office, and Lupin gives Harry back the Marauder's map. Dumbledore appears. Harry looks glum. Dumbledore asks him why he looks so. It didn't make any difference, he says. Dumbledore says it made a lot of difference. Truth was uncovered. An innocent man was saved from a horrible fate. Harry then tells Dumbledore about Professor Trelawney's prediction. That Pettigrew will go back to Voldemort, and he will rise again. As for Pettigrew, he owes Harry now, says Dumbledore. Voldemort has a servant now who's in Harry's debt. When the trio are on their ride back home, an owl arrives. It was from Sirius. He says he and Buckbeak are in hiding. He also says he was the one who sent the firebolt. Sirius also say that Ron can keep the owl since Sirius made him lose his rat. Ron says that summer Harry has to come and stay with him. It's the Quidditch World Cup. They arrive in London and go back to their families. Harry is much hopeful because of what he learned and what happened over the year. That's the end of the story. This has been a Pop Magic production. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you want more content like this, please hit the notification bell. Thank you and see you next time.